Hello, welcome tour of, I don't know, Szeklerland or something. I can't really pronounce it, man. Either way, let's get into it. World DB 2025 Conti only race, 4 stages. Thank goodness it's not a lot. I would not have been too happy if it was heaps. Yeah. Normal difficulty 1, 1, and 3. We're happy with that. It is a 2.2 race, and I was looking at it before. There it is there. And Romania, it's 2023 route. We're starting with an individual time trial. Looks like a sprinty stage, a little bit of a bump. I guess we'll get into it so we can see if there's any primes. Looking at the teams, it's a very small start list here. 8 teams registered. Cahal Ruel with Ivan Kobo. Omar Frale. Oh, he has fallen. Uzcatel with Ivan Romeo. He looks like the strong favourite here with great TT. Trying to glory with Gleb Sidesta. Alessandro Romel. Biniam Mar, of course, the GOAT. Otobor, the Bulgarian team with Lukas Krupis. Kyrilo Sharenko. Alexei Sharenko. Jeez, I can't pronounce those names. Anyway, Orica Green Edge, the classic jersey, Simon Clark. He's going to retire this year. Blake Quick, great Australian team, of course. Astana, XDS Astana with David Tonetti. Ivan Smirnov, Lee Gonev. Pretty strong Astana squad. Bardiani with Fiorelli, Martinelli. Korotek with Zoccarato, and Manzin. Really only one TT specialist here. I mean, some pick is called one, but it's not really, but it's Ivan Romeo. Whoa, looks like the Uzcatel squad's actually got a lot of TT specialists here. Anyway, now we can have a look at what the stages entail with the primes. There's a 4-kilometer prologue followed by a pretty much flat spray stage, 1 category 2 climb. Looks like we end in a mass sprint. Stage 3 is a little bit of a punchy climb at the end, a few more mountain points on offer, and stage 4, more or less a sprint. Looking at previous winners, any big names standing out here? Maybe Emil Dima. No one here is signed up to race though. So let's get into it. Anyway, here we are on the start line. Not many riders to start. 41 plus what? 8? 49 riders to start. Zambelli is the first off for Korotek. It is a short prologue. Let's have a look how short it is. 4.4 kilometers roughly. Kind of starts off this short descent and then it gets to a nice tougher climb towards the end. Well, timed to this race till we get someone like this. Gustav Wang, Team XDS Astana. Beautiful Astana bike here. And he is already catching his minute man. He's hit the best time of the day, 6:36. I don't think Van Smink will do too well. Serrano could, does not. Blake Quick won't. Sarenko, the first decent hill rider of the day. Second best time, 14 seconds. There are some big time gaps happening here. Ivan Smirnov, don't think he's going to set a good time. Nope. I think you've got to be good at TT or prologue for this, not just hill. Wait, second for that rider. Iker Mintegi of Kaharuel. Udon. Man, I don't know half these. Whoa, he did well. He must be in a good form. Some pick here, the TT specialist we looked at 14 seconds down. The Belarusian rider now. 10th. Interesting. Will Gustav Wang be beaten? Man, we're flying through these riders real quick, so ×2 is just the way to go. Hamish McKenzie sets the new best time in Australian for Bardiani. CSF in the lead. Once we get to the leaders, I'll slow it right down to ×1. What the hell am I listening to? Bo, who I thought would be a reasonable rider. Let's slow the simulation down as I try and fix this music, man. Lee Gonov now, another rush the rider for Team XDS Astana. What is that ding? Go Ivan Romeo. Hey, John Wayne. 9th for Lee Gonov. Alessio Martinelli up the road now for Bardiani CSF. Times 2, here comes Omar Frale for Caja Ruel. He should do a decent time. He's second by 1 second, so Hamish McKenzie in the lead. Bardiani CSF. Fox comes across 23 seconds. Belocchi, hey, takes a new best time. Markel Belocchi by 13 seconds. Following in the footsteps of his father, who of course was another professional rider. Benny Amar losing a bit of time there. Edward Grossu, the sprinter. David Baldessi getting close to the GC leaders on the course. Garibo comes through. You know, don't expect too many big times from these riders. Mikel Angel Fernandez times 1 now as our rider has begun. We'll get him down to like, yeah, we're going to sit still for now. Still Markel Belocchi in the lead. I don't think Budiak beating him. This rider could. Espadin could beat the new best time. Nobody's close. 8 seconds. Uskatel first, second provisionally so far. Jakob Eriksson. Nope. Norbert Banazk. You're Uskatel. You are Uskatel. She's Uskatel 1, 2, 3, quite possibly Zuccarrato. If only with the prologue stat didn't let him down. He's got pretty good stats everywhere else. 24th. Now the first leaders are on the road. Davide Tonetti, the leader for XDS Astana. What's he going to do? 22nd loses quite significant time there. Fiorelli, the Bardiani CSF leader. Also 43 seconds. Ivan Cobo, great Spanish rider. Orange Invasion. 5th best for him. Simon Clark, not looking like a good time, but here comes Ivan Romeo, only just behind him on the road. Romeo, the absolute favourite for the stage. 75 TT, 75 flat, 76 hill. What's his damage going to be? First place, first, second, third provisionally for Uskatel Uskadi. Gleb Sairesta is the next man on the road. He is the sprinter for China Glory Squad. 8th. Lukas Kubis, the Slovakian TT champion. He will 7th. Well done, Uskatel. Absolute domination. First, second, third in the podium as our simulation rider finishes 15 minutes down. Ivan Romeo goes into the lead with Belocchi in 2nd and Espadin in 3rd. Just like it is, just like the stage happened there. Well done. Points classification, Romeo takes that. Young rider, Romeo takes that too. And the team classification, surprise, surprise, Orange Invasion, Uskatel is back on top where they belong. Big losers, of course, us, and I guess we'll just head straight to the next stage, to be honest. Favourites for the stage is going to be a straight sprint. Gleb Sairesta is the favourite with Lukas Kubis there also. I think it's going to be Kubis kind of day. Uskatel not even mentioned. Breakaway could get a substantial lead in some of these other classifications. Geez, top 30 get points in the points classification. There's like 50 riders here. Half the peloton gets points. Anyway, let's get into it. Here we are on the start line. Let's get our rider to 0. A bit of rain. Shouldn't get too many falls, but look how small this peloton is. Like we said, the top 30 at the finish line get points. And there's only 50 riders, if that. So everyone's going to be in it to win it today. Let's get our top 10 labels on. Top 10 all the classifications here. That really makes a difference, to be honest. With this many riders on the course, I don't know what to expect. 2 intermediate sprints, let's speed it up, see if we get a breakaway. And we don't. Classic. Everyone's just going to be riding around together about 30 k's an hour because no one's got to put any effort in. Although if they want to beat Euskaltel, which are currently first, second and third in GC, they're going to have to do some sort of effort. 16 k's to the intermediate sprint. Will we see some of the sprinters launch something? Gleb Sylvester is sitting up at the front. Lucas Coopers has got, I think, a domestic here. I think Yurik is protecting him. Otherwise everyone's kind of just free for all. No one's going for these intermediate sprints, are they? 1.3 kilometers to go. There's a strong wind from the northeast, I guess. No one's even sprinting for the intermediate sprint points. Interesting. Can't really comment on this, there's not much happening. There's a second sprint, nothing happened once again. Kubis moves up in the points classification, but Romeo still has that under wraps. Has Euskaltel always been a TT powerhouse? I guess I didn't really follow Euskaltel when they were in the World Tour. That would have been 2013. That was probably just the year I got into professional cycling and all that kind of jazz. So Eriksson, the Swedish national champion. A bit of rain falling now. A few riders' teams are actually working at the front. The pace has increased somewhat. Category 2 climb incoming. Is no one going to sprint for these KOM points? It looks like they won't. So that means we will see Zampani of Bardiani CSF in that jersey tomorrow. Be good for a domestic to puncture for a Rydell. Stockel of team, what's that, Korotek has had a puncture, but no one's going back from Euskaltel back on the front, pushing the pace. 28 kilometers to go. We're expecting a mass sprint. We see Hugendorn has crashed and he joins Stockel out the back. Hugendorn looks like the sprinter for Orica Green Edge, if not the sprinter. Then the lead out man. They'll sprint for Fox instead, probably. Hey, someone's typing something. Rider protest. Uskadi. We will slow the simulation down at 10 kilometers to go, as everyone's just nothing really cheeky going on here. There you go, 10 kilometers to go. We've got sprint trains all forming up. Even Smirnov is a sprinter for XDS Astana. I thought it would have been Sylvester. Where is Gleb Sylvester? Sylvester? Oh, Sylvester's at... he's at China Glory. That is my mistake completely. That is, of course, why they're going for Ivan Smirnov. Benny Amar, the lead-up man for Sylvester. Blake Quick on the right-hand side of Simon Clark, leading him out. In the middle is Fiorelli for Bardiani CSF. Where is Euskaltel? Euskaltel doesn't really have a sprinter, but they've got Bo there who's sitting on the back of Sylvester, being protected. Romeo's being protected. Still Gonov drops just to the back. 4 kilometers to go. Looking at the zoom in, it's a little bit of a pinch up on the finish line, but nothing too much. Fernandez on the back of Blake Quick. My pick for the stage has to be Ivan Smirnov, the Russian powerhouse, the track superstar. Few corners here could really make it quite difficult for the XDS Astana team to come through. Benny Amar with his lead out, Gleb Sylvester on the left hand side of the road. It's still going to be a Russian powerhouse, but the wrong one than I predicted. Well done to Gleb Sylvester, who has time to celebrate. Hit of Blake Quick and Miguel Angel Fernandez. Smirnov comes home in 5th. That's respectable. Small time gaps here according to PCM. Will these come out in the results? Will we see Euskaltel's domination of the race seeded in the first road stage? Here at the podium, no time gaps there on the finish line. Great job by the Euskaltel squad to maintain their lead. Gleb Sylvester with the stage win for China Glory. Ivan Romeo. Oh, Gleb has come through and taken some bonus time. with that sprint stage win to move into third. It is now Euskaltel first, second and fourth. Their manager will be quite unhappy and he'll be forcing the team to sprint in tomorrow's stage for those bonus seconds. Best climber, of course, Eduardo Zampini. We saw that as it happened. Gleb Salesta in the points jersey, 4 points ahead of Ivan Romeo. Romeo still in the youth jersey and Euskaltel still in the team jersey. The orange jersey of Euskaltel Euskadi, a classic jersey from the past. Have a look at the changes in GC. We see Gleb Salesta up 6 places, a few riders dropping down. No other big moves, maybe, yeah, no other big moves to speak of. Point classification, Sarista up 8. Mountain, everyone's new in there. Youth, no big changes there. Team, still Euskaltel. Third stage of the race, the penultimate stage. We did say it ends in a little bit of an uphill finish. We see that on there. Fewer mountain points. Favourites again. It's still a sprint stage. They expect Lucas Kubas is a bit more, what do you call it, a bit more of a hill, so they're expecting runs with a bit more of a hill. So I think Ivan Romeo could almost take it again. He could extend his lead in this race. Here we are on the start line. Let's get our top 10 names for everyone, which will almost be the whole peloton shortly as more riders enter other classifications. Let's zoom in on that final stage. Oh, it's actually a pretty tough climb towards the finish. Definitely more a day for the climbers. So hopefully the game knows that and sends Ivan Romeo on the offensive for that climb. Will we see a breakaway today, knowing that it'll end more in a punchy finish? Let's speed up the simulation to see if we do. We do not. No breakaway, probably not enough riders. The Polish road race champion and the Slovakian road race champion both riding for the Bulgarian team. Quite a collection of Eastern European riders there. Looks like the mountain classification is just going to be a best domestic classification. Whoever's working the most on the front. A little bit of crosswind here. Nothing too major. Still slightly from the front of the riders. All we'll be doing is slowing them down, not stretching them out. Over the top, it is Euskaltel, first, second in that mountain classification. Isa moves up into second from third in the mountain classification. Another great effort from him on the front of the peloton on top of this category 1 climb could lead Euskaltel into the lead of that classification. Keeping the simulation on times 8 because, like we said, nothing much is happening here in this race. Wind is even dying a bit, coming into the next intermediate sprint. 3.8 kilometers. Not even the sprinters are getting ready for this. No one's going for it. Absolute waste of time as Euskaltel first and second once again. Absolute domination by them. Gleb Salesta still in the virtual lead of that classification. Bonus seconds will be helping out these Euskaltel riders. Although these are the two who are not up in the top 10. But bonus seconds, if they get consistent enough of these bonus seconds, they could definitely be moving into the top 10 today. On the category 1 climb now, we chose the wrong rider to watch. Let's keep an eye on Omar Frale, 6th place overall. He'll be working for his leader though, of Cajal Ruel. Ivan Kobo, who's 8th overall. Frale, the domestic, beating Kobo. Interesting choice there. Romeo up towards the front of the group. Izza also here. Izza wants to get those mountain points. I mean, Izza, it's Isasa. God damn it. My pronunciation. Anyway, coming across the top of the category 1 climb, Isasa has been ambushed by all these other riders. Euskaltel, the first 4 positions, as we see Extibera leading that classification now. Times 8 once again, nothing's happening. And we have it, 55 kilometers to go. The XDS Astana squad think it's a great stage for one of their leaders, so they are now pacing on the front. Their pacing brings them the first few positions in the points classification, which Euskaltel now lead provisionally. Another mountain coming up, another time for the Euskaltel riders to gain more points in that classification, but looks like it's going to be the XDS Astana squad who are still pacing quite furiously over the top of that climb there. 37 kilometers to go. Other teams now taking over the pacing. Kaharuel, Team Korotech at the front, still 36 k's to go. An intermediate sprint, a KO point, and then the punchy hill at the finish. Why is the one rider I select moving down the back of the peloton? With the riders a bit more active, will we see some sprints for this intermediate sprint classification? We do not. See, Sasa takes maximum points there once again and moves into the provisional lead of that jersey. Romeo in second though, so Romeo possibly could take that jersey back off the hands of Sarista depending on how his position is at the end of the race. Small sprint trains are forming, I think. Or is it just Euskaltel, not Euskaltel, just XDS Astana pushing hard at the top. Isasa wants more of those mountain points, but XDS Astana taking the first 4 positions. Interesting by Euskaltel, still the first 3 positions. 13 kilometers to go now. Let's keep it on times 1. It's a bit of flat before the final hill of the day. The finish line hill. There's a bit of wind, 26 kilometers an hour from. It's all over the place, but it's basically in front of the riders. Looking at a map of the finish line, it is quite a lot of turns. The wind is coming from the right here. So it's really kind of cross-windy the whole way. That's why you see that all across the road, but it's not strong enough to do any real damage. Benny Amar finds himself towards the back, the big sprinter for the China Glory squad. All eyes on the front. Where is Ivan Romeo, the leader of the race? 8.3 kilometers to go. He should be hitting himself up as we see Jakob Eriksson on the attack for Team China Glory. That's why Benny Amar was not there. Amar Frale and Jets Bol. Not Jets Bol, but some Bow fella. Lee Gonov closes down the gap. XDS Astana still has great belief in, I don't know who the hell they're working for. Maybe Tonetti, Ivan Smirnov, I can't quite tell. Euskaltel back on the front now. 4.5 kilometers to go. Ivan Romeo is up towards the front of the group. XDS Astana still all across the road. On the right hand side, it is Euskaltel sending more riders to help. Extibera flicks across. It is now up to the Russians to set the pace. Isasa is leading Romeo out on the left hand side. It is XDS Astana with another lead out. Kubas trying to hide behind the Astana lads here. The Polish champion in through the middle. There's 1.6 k's to go. The climbing has started. Isasa is leading out Romeo. Romeo must be going for this win. 1 kilometer to go, 900 meters. Who's going to launch first? And there it goes, Romeo through the middle. He's not really accelerating too hard. He's just pushing the pace. He's dead. On the right hand side, it's going to be an attack from Tonetti. A late push from the Italian. As the Astana team has been working all day, as we see Baldacini go toe-to-toe with him. The 2 Italians first and second. The Astana rider making the better of the 2. Unlucky for Romeo, who couldn't extend his lead in the GC. Tonetti, we're lucky with Tonetti, he's 46 seconds down already, so the 10 bonus seconds won't be too hurtful. And also potentially, they could all finish on the same time. It is a same time sprint for stage 3. David Tonetti, Davide Baltasini and Romello. The first 3 Italians across the line. Looking at those results, we see it's all Italian, all Spanish, followed by a few Russian, Slovakian flags. GC, still Romeo in first. Blocky, no real change in the top 4. Gleb Sarista still sitting in there at third. But the best climber as is Extibera. Euskaltel takes that off the Bardiani team. Ivan Romeo still is now leading the points classification first, equal with Lukas Kubis. Gleb Sarista up to third. Ivan Romeo in the youth and Euskaltel still in the team's classification. Any time gaps on today's stage? No time gaps at all, and only changes in GC. Kubus up 1, Frale down 2. No changes in the top 10. Points all over the show. Romeo up to first. Glibsarista down 2 positions. New person in the mountain classification, of course, like we said, domestics will be taking it. Youth, no change. Team, no major change. Now the final stage of the race, stage 4, we end up more or less the same. It is a sprint stage. Will we see a breakaway on this one stage? No, all good, John Wayne. It doesn't make you look stupid, man. I understand what you're saying. Apologies for the delay, man. It's all good. Everyone does it. Lucas Kubis will take second. I'm going to say Smirnov once again, even though they do rightfully Gonov. Bum, bum. There we go, final stage of the race. Let's get all our labels back on there. We're expecting a straight sprint finish, nothing too hard here. Will we see a breakaway? If we do, we'll be quite happy if we do. No breakaway, so times 4 once again, 48 riders, 8 teams of 6 riders, 6 8s of 48. Uskatel on the front, but the Bulgarian team Osterbor trying to get in the mix, trying to gain some of these mountain points. Sasa moving up to second now in that mountain classification. Intermediate sprint points also on offer here. Kubis takes over the lead of the classification from Ivan Romeo for just being just ahead of him in the peloton. That's why that Bulgarian team have their riders there. Ooh, little sneaky push there by the Bardiani squad to take first points, I think, or second points. Actually, Isasa is now in the lead of that mountain classification. Uskatel dominance is just Spanish riders in a non-Spanish race. Interesting. Romeo goes back into the lead of that points classification ahead of Kubis there with just some great positioning on the road. At the top of the category 2 climb, literally no change. Isasa extends his lead. Intermediate sprint inbound. Romeo finds himself towards the front, so extends his lead over Kubis. And we see the sprinters teams now coming towards the front. DS Astana doing some of the work, but it's still Uskatel on the front. Oh, there goes DS Astana coming across now. They want to try and set themselves up for their sprinter, Ivan Smirnov. It is Ivan Smirnov. It is Gleb Solesta who's China Glory, right? Will China Glory take another stage win? If Gleb Solesta does take a stage win, he'll move into second overall and upset Uskatel's plans absolutely. 23k's to go, the sprint trains are all lining up. We're heading to over the final climb of the day. Isasa has successfully taken that classification. Cajaruel looks to be the only team without a sprint train. well, one of the main teams. Orica Green Edge on the left hand side, 17 k's to go. We're still going to just speed it up till 10 k's to go because nothing much is really happening. A lot of descending. Here we go. A few riders have, what's that, fall? Looks like they may have Gustav Wang, some other Wang, and some, the Russian rider for XTS Astana. The left hand side, Fiorelli for Bardiani, CSF, Bo in the wheel, Manzin there. Also in the middle is Blake Quick with his Orica Green Edge squad. Even Smirnov in the second to right team. Fernandez on his wheel. On the right hand side it is Lucas Kubas with Gleb Silista in his wheel. China Glory, none of their own train today. A little bit of an uphill finish, but nothing too major. Looking at the map, there is quite a few corners, so it's really going to be about first around the corner, which at the moment looks like it's the Bardiani CSF squad once again. Bezinek, the Polish champion, has cut off the Bardiani squad from their sprinter. They're going to be fighting back for position 3.3 kilometers to go. Bormans opens up the lead. Here comes the Eastern European team. Sharenko on the front, Bezinek in second wheel. He launches now. Kubas is in the way. Kubas, the Slovakian champion. Sarista tries to come around him on the right hand side. Gleb Sarista through the middle. China Glory takes the stage. A second stage win for them ahead of Lucas Kubas of OTP. So it looks like Sarista will move to second overall in the GC, I want to say. Maybe at the podium, Gleb Sarista takes the stage. Oh, there was a time. Ooh. There was a gap in the peloton. A 7-second gap. Ivan Romeo, 50-50 if he still has the stage. I think he will by 5 seconds. Here's the stage. Here's the win. Yes, 5 seconds. Ivan Romeo is holding on to the lead by 5 seconds to Gleb Silista. Lucas Kubas in third as Uskatela knocked to fourth and fifth in the overall. But they take the mountain. They lose the points to Kubas by 13 points. Ivan Romeo still holds the youth and they hold the team classification. Very close there in the end, especially with a 7-second gap. Sarista almost doing the impossible in stealing the stage win, stealing the race from the Uskatel squad. May as well get the whole GC in here, right? Because, wait. Why does that not work? Oh well, anyway. Probably because there's fewer riders, right? That's probably why. Oh well, thanks for tuning in. Exports are out, screenshots are out. Enjoy the rest of your day, you lovely Europeans.
Seems to follow like a shadow dark and cold to the touch.